and student and staff success at the centre of everything they do, with tremendous effect. Because the university is not just those who run it, it's those who work there as well. So that's your bartenders, your tutors, your lecturers, your practitioners, your cleaning staff, your, Pebbles the campus cat.
Yes, and students. Students are the heart of the university.
I thought it was the library. Anyway, this award is for all of us, the university, the students' union, and the students.
Congratulations to all of us! Essex University of the Year. Essex, created by students and for students. Essex, where you can shape your university. Reach to us for support whenever you need it.
Well, I tried.
We condemn sexual assault.
Do you?
Home to the curious, brave, and bold. University of Essex is home to the most brilliant, daring, and bold students that are prepared to challenge the status quo and fight for what's right.
And that's what we will do. Hi, my name is Ruby, and I have a basketball game tomorrow! Thank you for getting that reference, I really appreciate it. I'm a 20-year-old drama student.
Hi, I'm Imogen. I'm also 20. I'm 5'4", and I just finished my final year at Essex.
I'm Sub, I'm 22 years old, don't let the dimples fool you. But tonight, we are not going to be playing ourselves anymore.
Instead, we'll be giving our bodies,
Our voices
our time,
to 24 women from different departments,
different ages,
backgrounds,
nationalities,
sexual orientations,
ideologies.
but all of them with something in common. They're all women and femmes studying at the University of Essex.
Now I'm 26,
And I'm 18,
19, 28.
20, 24,
22, 23, and 25.
and I'm from Poland.
Spain.
Catalonia.
I'm from London.
You're from Surrey.
Singapore.
Romania,
France,
Israel,
Italy,
studying marine biology,
Politics,
psychoanalysis,
creative writing,
psychology.
arts,
economics,
mathematics.
modern languages.
There are 15,317 students studying at the University of Essex, half of them being women.
According to the latest studies held by Revolt Sexual Assault and the Students' Room, out of 4,491 students across 153 different institutions, 62% of all of those surveyed could have experienced sexual violence. This changes into a 70% if we only focus on women.
Are you serious?
8% of female students surveyed said that they'd been raped while at university. 39% of those said they were made to feel blamed for the incidents.
6% of those who had experienced sexual assault or harassment reported their experience of sexual violence to the university. And only 2% of those felt both able to report it to the university and were then satisfied with the reporting process.
I mean, it's hard to imagine the reality of these percentages, which is numbers. Let's see what happens when we apply them to the number of students on our campus.
According to this national survey, at Essex, 5,360 women could have experienced sexual violence. This means only 107 of them receiving justice after the reporting process.
612 of these women could have been raped.
I mean, it's not like we really need these numbers to let us know that something bad is happening. Just think, your family, your friends, your relatives, how many stories of harassment have you heard from them? How many times have you asked them to text you so you knew they got home safe? How many times have you had to change positions in a club because someone was molesting you? And when the hell did we start normalizing all this shit?
The worst of it is that we always think of sexual violence as being such a faraway concept that it can't hurt us if we take the right precautions.
But it does happen.
Because no precautions you take will prevent it from happening to you.
Aggressions cannot be prevented by the victims.
Only by their aggressors. And only when we begin to understand that can we finally stop blaming the victims.
Because believe it or not, no one fucking wants to be assaulted.
The university should not be blamed when rape happens. However, it should when it fails to provide efficient tools to staff and students to prevent future aggressions from happening. Therefore, the university should commit not only to listening to students, but to taking action. We women on campus want to feel safe during one of the most important times of their lives, of our lives.
Aggressions always leave an impact, but when they happen at uni,
University is like a bubble. The people in your accommodation are also in your classes, on squares, in bars, in shops.
Most of the times, aggressors are not strangers, but someone the victim knows, which means they might have to bump into their aggressor constantly on campus.
this could result in victims skipping lectures, changing their routes on campus so they don't bump into their aggressors.
In fact, 1 in every 6 victims drops out of their studies.
We are not just numbers in a survey. We're people. We're real women.
With this project, we're giving a voice to these women, to let you know what it really means to be a woman at the University of Essex.
It ends now! No means no! Consent is sexy! My body, my rules! It ends now! No means no! Consent is sexy! My body, my rules! It ends now! No means no! Consent is sexy! My body, my rules!
12th of November 2018, 1 p.m, Square 3 at the University of Essex. The SU launched a campaign called It Ends Now in response to recent incidents on campus. The campaign aims to give members the tools to promote consent and respectful behaviour and condemn sexual assault.
It ends now! No means no! Consent is sexy! My body, my rules! It ends now! No means no! Consent is sexy! My body, my rules!
It ends now! Excuse me, do you mind if we take this just for a second?
No, it's just for the photo, you know.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Keep it out.
There are 2 ways for students to report any incidents of sexual harassment. The first is by using our support and report system, in which you will then be contacted by a member of our student staff and guided through your options. You may also report anonymously if you wish to do so. The university has a zero tolerance policy towards aggressors of any kind and commit to expelling anyone who is found guilty of it.
If only the guy who was saying this wasn't the guy who harassed me during my first year of uni. It didn't stop until I moved out of the uni accommodation we both lived in.
We stand in solidarity with the victims.
The worst part of it all is that the uni made me pay £55 to change dorm because it wasn't classed as a welfare issue.
Don't be afraid. Speak up. Report.
It seems like a guy banging on my door, threatening to rape me every night, as well as writing rape jokes across the kitchen cabinets about me, is not a welfare issue in the eyes of the uni. A time when I had to be as quiet as possible, lights off, door locked at all times. They would bang on my door. We know you're in there. Open the door and we'll leave you alone. Laughing and giggling, they would walk around Keys at 3 a.m. yelling for me to open my door, for yelling my name for me to open my door, and yet it seemed not enough for the uni to take action.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Yes.
Hi. Last night, my drink was spiked in sub.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so last night I went to sub with my friends and I put my drink down for a second. I know I shouldn't have, but you know, I was dancing. I was having fun. I wasn't thinking about it. So yeah, I finished my drink.
Shouldn't have done that.
So I finished my drink, and about half an hour goes by, and I go to the bathroom feeling sick, and then suddenly I can't move. I'm paralyzed. I'm not myself. My body is not my body. I was so terrified. So terrified. But I couldn't do anything. Eventually my friends found me and they took me to Nightline. Spent the night there. And you know, the next morning, I felt ashamed. I know I shouldn't, but they blamed me. The bar staff, even my friends. You shouldn't have put your drink down. Are you sure you didn't provoke someone?
I'm sorry.
Aren't you supposed to do something as part of the university staff? Well, as a human being!
Well, you can still report it online if you want.
Okay. Report and support. I'd like to report that my drink was spiked in sub. I have medical reports from St. John's Ambulance and witness statements from bar staff, nightline workers, and my friends.
Thank you for your email. We will endeavour to reply to you within 5 working days. We thank you in advance for your patience.
5 days.
We will endeavour to reply to you within 5 working days. We thank you in advance for your patience.
2 weeks.
We thank you in advance for your patience.
A month.
We thank you in advance for your patience.
3 months.
We thank you in advance for your patience.
A random guy punched me in the face when walking past me in sub.
Thank you for your email. We will endeavour to reply to you within 5 working days. We thank you in advance for your patience.
A male classmate used to call us his drama fags. He used to grab our bums in sub.
Thank you for your email. We will endeavour to reply to you within 5 working days. We thank you in advance for your patience.
A group of guys, they followed me back from the writing room to my place in South Court. I kept saying I didn't want to talk to them, but they wouldn't leave me alone. This happened in the middle of the day and I still got terrified.
Thank you for your email. We will endeavour to reply to you within 5 working days. We thank you in advance for your patience.
A classmate kept sending me really inappropriate messages, even after I told him it made me uncomfortable.
Thank you for your email. We will endeavour to
A
reply
guy I
to you
dated
within
a few
5
times
working
took me
days.
to Top
We
Bar and
thank you in
kept
advance for
buying
your
me drinks
patience.
while he wouldn't drink
Thank you for
himself.
your email.
He
We will
started
endeavour
getting
to reply
closer,
to
so I
you
said I
within
had to go
5
to the
working
toilet and
days.
just run
We
away.
thank you in advance for your patience. Thank you for your email. We will endeavour to reply to you within 5
This
working
was sent
days.
to my
We
academic
thank you in
email from an
advance for your
external address.
patience.
You look
Thank
pretty
you for
today.
your
The desk
email.
couldn't stop
We will
staring
endeavour
at
to
you.
reply to you within 5 working days. We thank
A
you in
group of
advance
guys
for your
passed me on a
patience.
night out and
Thank you for your
started
email.
barking at
We will
me.
endeavour to reply to you within 5 working
Barking,
days.
whistling
We
and
thank you in
laughing. As
advance
they
for your
walked
patience.
away, they kept looking
Thank
back
you
at
for your
me.
email. We will endeavour to reply to you within 5 working days.
A guy I was talking to in the SU bar unexpectedly grabbed my boobs and said, "Oh, you got a nice pair, don't you?"
5 working days. We thank you in advance for your patience. Thank you for your email. We will
The
endeavour
guy that
to
lived
reply
across
to
from me
you
in
within
campus
5 working
accommodation
days.
came into
We
my
thank you in
room
advance
without
for
my
your
consent
patience.
while I was
Thank you
drunk
for
and
your
stood
email.
there staring
We
at
will
me.
endeavour to reply to you within 5 working days. We thank you in advance for your patience.
So my ex, he was a rugby player, and he had a hard time understanding what consent meant. Not just with me, but with other girls as well. There are 3 of us now who have reported him for sexual harassment, assault, and rape. You know, when you think of a rapist, you normally picture some stranger in a dark alley. And so what if you found out that a rapist was somebody that you loved and cherished? And instead of that creepy alley, it's your bedroom with your fluffy purple cushions and photos of the 2 of you on the wall, smiling with your friends, laughing as you entered summer ball together. A rapist in that photo of that first family dinner. A rapist pulling a silly face to make you laugh. A rapist from that time you went to Paris. A rapist, fuck! Was there something that I missed, something I could have done? Were there red flags that I ignored? You know, a rapist, they don't come with a card on their shirt. They don't have it written on their foreheads. I'm a rapist. No, they don't. So fuck you. Fuck you for coming into my life. Fuck you for making me trust you. Fuck you for making me fall in love with you. Fuck you for your mistakes. And fuck you for wrecking people. Fuck you for wrecking me. Fuck you. Fuck him. And fuck anyone that made you trust them and then wrecked you. Because I am no longer scared to speak out and to not be sad anymore. But healing is a complicated process. And mine started by cutting the strings that held us together. I cut the strings that held us together as a couple, as people, as human beings, as memories. And for every string that I cut, I would sew the wound that it left behind. And so I would cut, and I would sew, and 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 I would cut, and I'd sew, and I cried, oh God, I cried, but I cut, and I sewed, and I cut, and I sewed, and I cut, and I sewed, and I cut, and I sewed, until one day, I woke up and realized my body could hold my tears again, and that there were no more holes for them to slip through. I met someone. It took me a long time, but eventually I learned to trust him, to love him, and more importantly, to let him love me. But life is not a fairy tale, as you know, and one day I was at my boyfriend's house, and that's when I heard, X! It was him. He followed me somehow. X, open up, I know you're in there! And that was when my nightmare truly started. He would wait for me outside of my classes. He would stop me on campus, off campus, and I could just feel myself unraveling, all the tears falling out again, and I just...
Dear Miss X, let me introduce myself. I'm Mr. C, the University of Essex's proctor. I've received your complaint of sexual misconduct and harassment.
The university basically dictated I couldn't talk to his friends about it. He couldn't talk to mine, not via verbally, text, using other people as messengers. They basically just silenced it. It's been 6 months, and still nothing has happened. He still goes to classes every day, goes to rugby training every week, and parties every Wednesday at fucking Fed.
Feed him to the lions. Feed him to the lions. Feed him to the lions. I can feed him to the lions. You tell him there's no running from me, ducking danger from me. No God can save you from me. You tell that little shit. There's no running from me, ducking danger from me. No God can save you from me.
The competitive element of the club stretches far beyond the playing field.
As the female rugby team, we were in a joint social with the males team. In Sub-Zero, they'd surround us in a big circle. It was like a shark and a school of fish. They were trying to pick us off one by one.
There are a darker aspect to these socials, a side which manifests itself during Wednesday nights, where players gain merits by harassing women, sexually or verbally.
What makes it different to other nights out is that if the individual is on a sports team, they immediately have support.
They pick their targets carefully. They wait until you're alone and outnumbered. They're not looking for a confrontational situation, just an entertaining one.
Oh, your tits are banging!
Hey, why are you hiding?
Nate, I think she's hiding from you.
Oh!
If they cannot gain respect through charming women, it's not uncommon for players to begin gaining it by belittling and harassing them.
This may be because she represents the failure of the individual's attempts, or maybe because basic insecurity prevents them from grasping the concept of no.
Or maybe they were just never taught to understand what respect means.
That they can have fun at a party without getting lucky.
That women deserve to have fun at a party.
Without being seen as trophies.
Without being regarded as prey.
Oh, okay, are you a lesbian?
Do you have a boyfriend? Is he here? Mate, she wouldn't be dancing like a slut if she had a boyfriend.
Oh, you're not even that hot anyway.
They don't just harass women in order to pursue them. They do it because they find it funny.
But let me tell you something, boys. When you do this, it's not funny. This affects the routes we take around campus, the nights out we choose to attend. But to you, we're nothing more than another girl shoved into a corner. Another joke to laugh at.
Oi! Ooh! Oi! But we won't shut up!
They won't put us in the corner!
Anymore! If we stay together! Together!
So grab your sister's shoulders and say,
be another drunk girl joking with her.
Go away!
Okay, no. I gather my duvet around my body because I'm naked. And I go over to the window and open my curtain and I see it. A girl drunkenly ambling away and a guy is following her. Sober. Shit. I glanced to my wardrobe.
Go away!
Shit, back to the window. There's no one else outside there apart from them. Wait, no, wait, there's a group of guys over by the car park and they're gonna cross them. Yes, they're gonna cross them. And they just passed them. And my heart just froze, but it's never beat so fast. So I rush over to my wardrobe and I put on some clothes and I don't even have time to tie my shoes because I go back to the window and now I can't hear her screaming anymore. And wait, they're over by the car park and he's pushing her against the fence. Shit! So I run and I live on the 11th floor of South Towers and shit! It stops on the 8th. Shit! Two friends of mine enter and I can see on their faces how obvious my distress is.
Are you okay?
So I tell them what I've seen and they come with me as soon as the elevator doors open. And we arrive. And there's no one here. So I tell them to look between the cars while I go to the bus stop. And there's no one here. Shit. Wait. There's that group of guys that saw what was happening. Did you see what was happening with that girl?
What?
That girl, she was in danger, he was pushing her against the fence.
I mean, we heard some screaming.
And you did nothing! So I run to security. A girl is in danger!
South Towers?
Yes!
Yeah, we've been receiving a lot of calls.
There is no one there apart from me trying to help!
Go home, we've sent security to that area.
So I send my friends home. And I can't go back there because I need some air and it's raining. And I'm wet and I'm cold, but I can't feel it. And now I'm crying. So I go for a walk to Southport to see if I can see the girl. And
What's wrong? You okay?
there was a girl in danger and a guy was trying to grab her. And I went to security and they said they've sent someone, but there was no one there trying to help apart from me.
Shit. Look, you gotta let security do their jobs. It's late hours. You shouldn't be wandering on campus alone this time of night. I'll walk you home. Come on.
That sounds awful. Are you okay?
I am, but I don't know what happened with that girl. People were standing there watching and just did nothing.
Here, this might help you with that. Look,
Bystander intervention training. What's that?
here, it says it teaches bystanders how to safely intervene in instances of sexual violence, relationship violence, and stalking.
Oh, hey. It says it's this Thursday. Should we go
Yeah.
check it out or
Oh,
what?
well, I'm trying to book us in and it says it's fully booked.
That's a bit weird. I don't think it'll be that popular of a program.
I've literally never heard of it.
And it was really difficult to find on the SU website.
Well, just want to say where it's taking place. We could just.
Room to be confirmed.
It's this week.
We'll wait until Thursday.
And it's Thursday.
What? No, it's Thursday. Theatre's magic. Whoa! Whoa! It's Thursday.
It still says to be confirmed.
Right. I'm starting to doubt if this is even a real thing now.
Do you think they're pretending?
What? The university is pretending to do something about sexual harassment because it's like a really important issue and they need to show the world that they're doing something about it. But in reality, they're not really throwing this bystander intervention training or doing anything really to tackle it? No!
Let's go ask yes, you help desk.
Hi, we're here for the bystander
Attention
intervention.
training.
Yeah, they booked you a room. It's
Right.
SE.235669XYZ.
I don't know.
Wait, have you seen this one before? I don't know where it is. Oh, you want to see the camera? Even that, take away. Wait, let's see what. Oh, you know what?
That's my gym code over that you're done. Jesus Christ.
Oh shit. Oh, got back up now.
And there's no one here.
There is literally no one here. Are you sure this is the right place?
Yeah.
And the right time?
Yeah.
Do you really think they're pretending to run bystander training?
No! Should we?
Let's come on.
Okay. Wait, no.
There was no one there at
Oh, no one there. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there. Let me just book you another session.
Okay, thank you.
Beep beep. Beep beep. Come on, hurry up.
I think your
Beep,
butt's
beep.
ringing.
No, it's not. Oh shit, it is. Sorry.
Oh, hey.
Oh my god, it's sex.
What's this say?
Oh! Thank you for booking on tonight's bystander intervention training session. Unfortunately, due to trainer illness, tonight's session has had to be cancelled.
No! Well, are they at least going to reschedule it?
Oh yeah, in 2 months.
Now 2 months has passed.
Whoa! At least they sent someone this time.
And are we the only ones here who signed up?
Excuse me.
Hiya, welcome to bystander intervention training. And no, we were actually expecting a whole load more people.
Sounds fake, but okay. Well, can we still do the training?
Yeah, well this hasn't happened before, but, and usually I wouldn't bother, but I guess we can do it with 2 of you, huh? And we can get the audience to join in too. I'm sure you guys would love that, right?
Yay! Audience interaction!
Integrate!
Woo! Yay, yippee!
Let's hear a cheer from this side!
Thank you,
That's
shocking.
right! Can we start off, please, by defining what bystander means? Anyone?
Anyone? Just put your hands up. Okay, it's me, I guess.
Anyone?
There's no one else. Right, it's a hate crime. Oh, pick me! Pick me, I'm Asian!
Find the Asian.
A bystander is someone who witnesses something that is happening.
Yes, actually. The official Cambridge Dictionary defines bystander as someone who is seeing and witnessing something, but is not partaking in that action.
Oh, like a group of guys watching while a guy is aggressively grabbing a girl's wrist.
Yeah.
Or someone who is screaming outside their window and then doesn't call security.
Yes, or a group of friends at a party who see a guy take a girl upstairs while she's too drunk to consent. There are many examples where people see something and don't know what to do. And that's because they don't know how to react, or even if they should. That's why bystander intervention training is important, to teach people how and when to safely intervene without putting others in danger. That's why you should always take care.
Wow. Was expecting something a bit more instructive.
Wait a second, okay. C stands for create a distraction. A stands for ask directly. if you're struggling, then a bigger group can help de-escalate the situation. But I ask you to always operate with as much empathy as possible in these situations. In most situations, aggressors are not strangers, but someone the victim is close to, which makes the situation even more delicate. I'd like everyone in the audience to think of the person they trust the most in the world. And why you trust that person. Next, I'd like you to think of a safe place of yours. And why you feel so safe in that area. And lastly, I'd like you to think of a secret. Something deep, even embarrassing. Now I'd like everyone to close their eyes. Remember that person you blindly trusted. Now imagine that person is your aggressor. And how that would make you feel. Next, remember that safe place. Now imagine that that's where the aggression took place. And how that would make you feel walking into the space you once loved and knowing what happened. And lastly, I'd like you to remember the secret. Something deep and personal. Now imagine having to tell people about it. One after another. This is what the victims of sexual violence have to go through. Telling their stories over 1 million times to friends, to family, at work, in front of a courtroom full of people. How would that make you feel? And how would you feel if you told someone that secret and they questioned the truth of it? Many victims of sexual violence don't come forward through fear of not being believed. Many don't come forward through fear of being blamed for the incidents. And many simply don't come forward because they are already struggling with what happened. So please, remember this before ever questioning someone's testimony. Listen instead of blaming. Respect the bravery of those who speak up. And respect the decision of those who don't. They may be focusing their bravery on healing a wound you may not understand.
I'm late! Oh God, I'm late! I'm late! I'm terribly sorry!
Oh gosh, sorry for making you wait. It's just that like my meetings ran over and I've changed the timing for my interview for my dissertation. It's just been
It's been a crazy day.
Period Pride is in 2 weeks!
And Women's Week is in no time.
Thank you once again for agreeing to be part of my dissertation survey. As you know, we are surveying the perception of the patriarchy and harassment of women on campus. Yes.
Sorry again for being late. I'm trying to juggle everything at the same time.
You know, my course, my dissertation, being president of show choir, being a women's officer.
Sometimes I put too much pressure on myself.
There's so much to do.
For Women's Week, I am organising 3 discussion panels.
Women in sport,
Women in the arts!
and an intersectional event.
Hey. Anyway, this is taking far too long. We should be preparing for a press release.
Big news! The SU is now removing the luxury tax on all period products on our stores on campus.
The SU is covering the cost of this tax so that our students don't have to.
Because obviously, shoving a tampon up my vagina is a freaking luxury. Women's privileges! I know it may not sound like much, but it's a lot of work.
I shouldn't be putting so much pressure on my shoulders.
Don't get me wrong, as head of the Women's Network, I have an amazing team of people who help me make sure things get done.
Even when the people above me are not. Sorry. I just feel like sometimes people try to not like they do it with bad intentions, but sometimes people tell me I'm too ambitious. But there's so much to do. Sexual harassment, mental health. The university sells the women's officer as a chance to make change happen. But you know, the reality is...
You begin to realize that it's just not all physically possible.
As the women's officer, I'm in charge of putting on campaigns and events to make women's experience on campus the best it can be. It's an unpaid position, which means I'm in charge of empowering the biggest community on campus.
Half of the campus, indeed.
Altruistically.
Huh?
Without pay. I know it was my own decision, but what makes me mad is...
And I'm in the middle of all this, just trying to make change happen.
Because change is necessary. Sexual harassment is a real thing and real change is needed. The It Ends Now anti-harassment campaign is great for raising awareness,
But the conversation should not end here.
we need something bigger.
A bigger campaign, a bigger impact,
Real change.
and real support to those who want to make these changes happen.
We want real power for the women's officer.
Women's officer? Never heard of her. Okay, no, I mean, never heard from her. Or any other officer for that matter. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do think the officers are doing a good job, but I want them to be making a more aggressive point. I want them to stand up and say, this is what we are, instead of being some sort of background thing that the university has. I mean, honestly, I really hope that no one applies for the role of officer because they think you'll look good on their CV. Apply because you care about the students. Because we feel let down when we see you fail to lead by example. The officers are doing a good job raising awareness, but a poster isn't going to stop harassment from happening. Action will. Real consequences will. This is university, it's not a secondary school, and we're all adults fully aware of our actions. I want the university to start taking its own words seriously. They say they won't tolerate aggressors of any kind, well then, expel them. Honor the bravery of the victims. You can't encourage us to be bold enough and report, but then don't keep your promise. We want real tools, not posters. A poster isn't going to stop a rapist from raping. Self-defense classes will. Real mandatory bystander training will. More safety buses at night will. You know, getting the staff in on anti-harassment campaigns will. You know, regulating FEC nights, a walk me home service, facilitating the movement of victims out of their accommodation, like making it for free, for example, or even better, make the aggressor the one to move out instead. We need to start investing in women's safety so that we don't ever need victim support. We need to start making sure it ends now.
This is how everything began.
This was how Plucked premiered in March in the Hex building to a standing ovation.
While we prepared 75 seats, 120 people showed up for the first gig, sitting on the floor, chairs, tables, stairs, and even the second floor of the Hex.
See, we even needed to make a second performance for those who couldn't make it into the first one. Like,
Bigger things were happening. This was just the beginning.
Sorry, I overexcited.
If you bear with us for a bit, you'll get to see what happened after that first night in the Hex.
But please, first, go upstairs to the bar, grab yourselves a drink, but please be back in 15 minutes.
We also have a support room for anyone who just needs some time to process their thoughts, rest their head. There will be a member from the student support team there to help you if you have any questions or just need a chat. Please ask an usher where the studio is and we'll be more than happy to take you there.
No questions asked, no explanations needed, just please look after yourselves.
Also, in the foyer, we have a guest book for you to leave your feedback, thoughts, your cheeky comments, you know. Yeah.
All of this will still be there after the show, so don't worry about rushing. But please, be back in 15 minutes. We'll see you then.
That was incredible.
This is so necessary. This conversation you just started got me crying throughout all of it. I hope you know what you've just done. This will be remembered.
I just want to punch that arsehole in the face. The rugby player?
Actually, he reminded me so much of my ex.
If you ever need more stories,
I went through something like that last
I
year.
want to tell you something that happened
That guy
to me
in my
first
class.
I
year.
tried to report about it.
Actually, he reminded me
I just
so
want
much
to
of
punch
my
that
ex.
arsehole in the face.
I tried to report
The
about
rugby
it.
player?
What you've just
That
done.
guy in my
This will
class.
be
How can I help
remembered.
you?
I just can't believe how
Got
incredible
me
that
crying
was.
throughout all of it.
I hope you know what you've just done. This will be remembered.
Hey, guys, things can't end like this. Oh my god, it happened. We upset the SU. Oh no, I mean the SU will be happy to support you in any way possible. Give me a call. We'll talk. Congratulations and well done.
That's going to be a great opportunity!
This could be the change we're waiting for. And then we realised we weren't just here to tell all these stories, but to make sure the people who needed to hear them actually listened.
Hello? Thank you. It's Imogen. From Plucked. Thank you, we've known each other for 7 years! Yeah. Anyway, we've got loads of ideas we want to share with you. Would you like to? Sure, yeah. Zest, 6 p.m. Great. See you there.
Are you sure it was here? Yes.
At this time?
Yes. What if it was a joke? What if the SU is angry at us after we expose them in front of the whole uni?
So we angered the SU and therefore they ghost us?
Sure. No, but think about it, right? The SU helped us set up Plucked, and we used that help to unmask how inefficient their system is. We basically bombed them from the inside.
Okay, that's not true. Firstly, we didn't expose them. We've only exposed the aggressors, right? We've only exposed the truth and everyone that was deliberately ignoring it. There's nothing wrong with pointing out inefficiencies in the system if you want it to improve. Besides, let's remember, the SU and the university are still two very different things.
Anyway, this is how everything evolves, pointing out what doesn't work to install something more effective. Protesting against the system is vital, but it's only from the inside of it that you can change anything. Yeah, we can start a conversation, raise awareness, but we won't have an impact on the university's policies or procedures if no one working for them listens to us. We're not committing a crime by letting the SU know where the uni has failed us. A crime would be to be aware of a faulty system and not do anything about it. Protests may be uncomfortable, but Silence is dangerous. Silence today causes more victims tomorrow.
Hey guys, sorry I'm so late. My meeting held us up. Sorry again, but we are on our way.
Sure.
And anyway, it's not like we're the only ones speaking up against the university.
What do you mean?
Okay, so the BBC contacted us and they're going to be airing a new segment in a few months' time.
What?
How do you know? So they've contacted us and we've shared our research that we did for the play. You know, the article is meant to be focusing on how the university deals with sexual harassment cases and investigations.
Oh my god! That could be massive.
And it was.
Massive.
The University of the Year shaken by public scandal and outrageous truth spoken by the bravery of so many people speaking up.
Calm down.
We finally made it. Finally, our voices were being heard.
But we'll get to that in a minute because first, there was a different kind of boom. Every day, more and more people were becoming interested in what was happening here.
People started sending messages. They wanted to help, to collaborate, to share their stories, to make an impact. People were willing to fight.
And then we got sucked into this frenetic spiral of radio interviews, speeches, discussions. People started publishing their dissertations on the topic. Sexual harassment was on the tip of everyone's tongue. See, this is proof of the effect of the individual can have on the larger scale. The revolution had started.
I'm here with the Plucked cast with Ruby Barry, Sabrina, Imogen and Marina, who wrote and directed it. And we'll be talking about their recent production called Plucked. What was the process of putting all this together? Because I've heard you based this off actual stories and you collected them, and that was how you wrote it. Mm-hmm. What was like just the general process? Like, how did you approach these people, and how did you then pick which ones to use?
Yeah, that was the most difficult part, apart from the writing, because in the beginning we opened a call for everyone who wanted to reach us could share their writings or art experiences.
How many hours of recordings a year?
Wow. So I have more than 26 hours of recordings. And after the play was premiered, a lot of people just came to me, with a lot of stories.
What did you hope to achieve with this?
Well, at the end, Sab has a section which literally lists a number of solutions which the uni...
Do I still remember it? Should I perform it?
But it's just like solutions offering to the uni that maybe haven't been thought about before, that maybe a lot of people have fed back that they would have liked to experience.
The thing is, the Sabrina's monologue at the end with the list was such a logical, rational list of things, and I think it shocked a lot of people that it's just not there. And I'm really hoping that something will happen. There's just a lot of distrust with the university and their policies and things like that.
And maybe not only with these universities, so we're hoping to, in the future, to read to other universities, and that these things that, as Ruby said, are very rational?
Logical.
Logical, thank you. Very logical, can be implemented in not only University of Essex, but every university, because it's really important.
Yeah. But in regard to actual sexual aggressions and harassment, we've not heard a single thing.
But the thing is, straight after our performance, I remember like a lot of university staff or whatever coming up and being like, this is going to be, we're going to do something, and then it's just...
But it's sort of gone under the radar again, like the It Ends Now thing sort of happened one time on the square where everyone sort of gathered like, wow, there's going to be actual change. And then after that, no one heard a single thing more about the It Ends Now campaign. And it's almost like...
I've interviewed a lot of staff, and they are really frustrated because they are trying to make differences. But the person who is in charge, the people who can make change happen are not doing it.
But
if you follow us on social media in oh my god.
Oh yeah, we do have socials. Here we go.
We have plenty. Plucked period Essex on Instagram and Essex Plucked Project Essex on Facebook.
The Plucked social media stuff is great because it talks about the show, but also you share like little bits about famous historical female figures and different theatre shows and art pieces that you know celebrate that every week, and so it's a really good thing to follow.
It's a holistic project, guys.
Yes, so every week I focus on a different topic. One week is sorority, another week is feminism, and I talk about books, films, historic figures. So it's really interesting if you want to join.
So we're going to wrap this up now. Thank you so much for the cast of Plucked and the writing.
The winner is...
Congratulations to all the other playwrights, because all the plays are amazing and theatre is fucking important, especially in this society. And storytelling, it's very important also, especially what we did with Plucked, because all I did was listen to those voices who were not heard here at university, and I think that goes beyond an award or anything. I just wanted to create something to denounce something that affected all of us, and it's very important. And just the fact of seeing how it impacted people, how everyone reacted. The SU finally listened. So next week, Ismail, I'm having a meeting with the SU. So please send me all the things you want change, all your ideas. Because I'm gonna tell you something, this is not a play I wrote, this is a movement, and this is
Guys, do you know that the University of Warwick's also having problems?
Not surprised.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, sexual harassment is everywhere. You know, just because it's not on the news doesn't mean it's not happening. Sure, it may seem like our university is having a massive influx, but the conversation has been started and we are in the spotlight. Aggressions are extensive, you know. I wouldn't say our university has a bigger problem than others with it. It's just that we are the ones that have spoken up first.
Not anymore. Listen. 11 students have been suspended from the University of Warwick after misogynistic and racist messages made in Facebook group chat emerged. The messages came to light after 3 formal complaints were made to the university. At one point, a user wrote, "Rape her in the street while everybody watches," with another responding, "It wouldn't even be unfair." They were talking about a fellow student. They were talking about abducting her, chaining her to the bed, making her urinate on herself, and then sleep in it.
Wow.
I can't believe this still happens in the 21st century.
I mean, if you listen to this, it's rape and sexual assault reports from university students have risen tenfold, with Cambridge University seeing some of the highest number of complaints in the country, an investigation has revealed.
Hey guys, sorry we're late. We've been having a hectic day. We've been having meetings all week, but it seems to be good. The university decided to change their policy on how to deal with harassment reports.
Wow, that's amazing!
It's just great to see students making a difference on campus. So you told me you had something you wanted to share with us?
Oh, yes. We have some proposals for the SU. We've been receiving great ideas from the students of ways that we can improve campus.
Go on then.
Well, firstly, we would like to discuss the university's zero tolerance policy.
What about it?
It's bullshit.
Oh. You can't expect victims to report traumatic experiences and then let them down by not keeping your promise.
Well, there were a few problems with the last proctor, but that's why the university is going to be interviewing for a new one. But that's an university issue, not the SU.
Oh.
So, what else?
We've been receiving a lot of complaints about the safety bus. Yeah, see, it's meant to be a service to help our students get home safe, but the reality is it's a bunch of students queuing very late at night next to very drunk students, and there's no security guard or something to help control the situation.
And also there's not enough safety buses for everyone, and the spaces are so limited, there's no control over who gets on them, so you can imagine the strongest of the bunch find themselves a way to the front.
And that means many people will have to then head back home on foot.
The university has received these complaints before, but there's not much we can do. There's not enough funds.
Oh. What about more uni security patrolling campus at night then?
There's not enough funds for that.
Sorry, but where do our tuition fees get invested if not in our safety?
I can't comment on that. That's the university's field, not the SU.
Well, what about regulating Fed nights? That's an SU event, isn't it? How about banning the entry of those proven to be aggressors, even if they're alumni?
We already do that.
We had victims complaining about it.
Then it may be that those people weren't declared aggressors by the university's investigations.
Well, that speaks for itself.
But again, that's a university issue. Is there anything the SU can help you with?
Well, that's the question really, isn't it? Is there anything the SU can help us with?
What you have to remember is that the SU and the university are separate. We're not the ones in charge of deciding how campus operates. What we do is to represent the students in front of the uni, with a link between the two. That's why it's so important for students to interact and engage with us, so they know what we're doing and they can support that. We are demanding urgent change from the university. We are pressurising them to provide proper support for students throughout the reporting process. For the university to do a review of student experience and how it's affected by sexual harassment. For investigations to be completed within 60 days. For the university's student support and advice to be more open for students. For the university to be more transparent about the action they're taking regarding these issues. And for the university to prioritise sexual harassment reports over minor student conduct and academic issues. We are working so hard, but the SU has limited power and it's frustrating, but that's just how it is.
Then
Shouldn't we be fighting for students to have more power on how the uni is run? At the end of the day, we and the staff are the ones who live and study here, not those who put on a suit and tie in the morning and go to some faraway office to make decisions about what is happening here.
Definitely. But I'm so sorry, girls. I have to go. I have another meeting. I'm so sorry.
See you later.
Bye. Listen, I know it seems like nothing can be done. Trust me, it's as frustrating from the inside as it looks from the outside. But changes are happening. Slowly, but they are.
But the uni changing their policies isn't making the students feel any safer. It just makes the uni feel like they're doing something.
And what's the point in changing them if they're not going to keep their promises anyway?
I know. But a new sabbatical team is coming this year, and they're ready to pick up the fight. We're already pressuring the university into making bystander training mandatory for all staff and students. Logistics are difficult, though. You can't force someone to sit in the room and take a course if you don't pay them. And as Tanky pointed out before, that's a massive cost for the institution. I know, it really infuriates me on a personal level too, but you should be happy. It's not every day that students complain to have a direct impact on the university. Change is happening, even if it takes more time than you anticipated. Tanky and his team have been working really, really hard, and so will we. We really want to make a change at this university, but to do that, we need the students' help. We need them to back us up and engage with us. We need the students to trust in the Students' Union and what we're doing. We're trying to gather as much feedback as possible to send to the university to support our arguments and our proposals. So please encourage students to send their complaints to the SU advice team.
Although, if you send it in anonymously to the uni reporting system, don't expect the uni to follow it up. They don't.
And that's the tea.
Students shocked after a rape on campus 7 months ago, giving their support to Essex University's campaign to stop sexual violence and harassment. All wanting zero tolerance, the message for the perpetrators was clear.
It ends now.
But not for this student. We've named her Rebecca.
I never expected him to force himself upon me and try to yank my clothing off of me. I kept saying no, and he wouldn't stop until I had to shout no.
A year on, a complaint that the university itself classed as attempted rape has yet to be fully investigated by them.
I feel that they've silenced it, and I don't think it's fair because victims have to be very strong to come forward about any sort of harassment or sexual assault or rape. What I thought was going to be dealt with promptly because there wasn't any police involvement. It's almost embarrassing because I had the strength to come forward and nothing's been done about it, and now I still have to see him a lot of the time on campus.
Now we can reveal that Rebecca is one of 4 students who've made serious sexual allegations, including rape and sharing an indecent photo against the same male student. The university has known about the other cases since last November, but still hasn't taken action. Whereas the police took just 7 months to jail Sultan Mohammed, he wasn't a student, but last October managed to walk onto campus and rape a student in her room as she slept. For any victim, it's their decision whether to report it to the police. Why didn't you go to the police?
The email that I got from the proctor at the university said, "Have you had any involvement with the police?" And he said, "If you have, then we can't take our investigation any further." So in my head I was thinking, I've done the correct thing, I haven't gone to the police, which means hopefully the university can deal with it.
38 students have complained of sexual harassment in the last year at Essex University. It says 1 in 5 haven't been dealt with fast enough. In comparison, the UEA had 47 sexual assault complaints last year. 23 students have been investigated. And Anglia Ruskin had 3 complaints, All have been dealt with by the police. The university says it's taken the BBC's investigation incredibly seriously and has reviewed its complaints policy. It will now be taking on extra staff. In a statement, it says our zero-tolerance policy means we always investigate cases thoroughly, although we believe we've responded appropriately. We accept the time it has taken to resolve some of these cases has left students in a very difficult position.
This whole thing has made me very depressed, and so I've got to keep up with this sort of strong, happy exterior, but underneath I'm very disappointed and let down because nothing's been done.
Rebecca and 2 other women have now been given a date to give evidence at a misconduct hearing. The university says the accused student won't be able to graduate until the matter has been resolved. Debbie Tubby, BBC Look East, Essex.
It was massive.
A before and after at this university.
The BBC exposed how the university took more than a year to investigate one of its many cases of sexual harassment.
A year in which the aggressor faced no consequences.
A year in which the victim had to bump into her aggressor.
A year in which other women on campus were exposed to a reported threat.
But it turns out that the outcome of the investigation didn't bring any comfort either.
It seems that 8 witnesses reporting the aggressor was not enough to back up the victim's story in the eyes of the university.
They asked for proof, just to ignore it later. They started an investigation, which didn't investigate anything.
They sent a jury who ignored the facts.
At my trial, there were only 2 committee members. Both of them were male. It was intimidating.
As a result of my trial, my aggressor had to write me an apology letter, in which he did not apologise to me even once.
My aggressor was present during my trial, so of course I didn't want to give him the satisfaction of seeing my tears. I broke down as soon as I got home.
And when you're telling your story, you have 2 options really. You either cry or you hold it together. The first could be seen as crocodile tears, the second as indifference.
What does a woman have to say to be believed? What does it take for society to believe her?
The ex-proctor often reiterated that an aggressor is innocent until proven guilty.
But the percentage of false reports is very low. No one in their right mind would enjoy standing in front of a jury telling blind-faced lies.
So why hasn't it been considered that innocent until proven guilty is quite unreasonable and frustrating for the real victims?
I mean, just think about how difficult it is to actually get someone condemned when you do have the proof for it.
But if you ever falsely report anyone, male or female, fuck you.
Because a false report can fuck someone's life up.
Because the social impact is very real.
I don't understand why my evidence wasn't sufficient. I just don't understand.
I don't understand what's going on in this university.
I don't know what they think we are.
We are people. We're not idiots. We actually care about things.
We don't want an official statement telling us what you're doing about it. We want you to actually do it.
We'd rather you stay silent than lie to our faces.
Why does the victim have to make the effort to prove herself right?
While the aggressor doesn't have to provide as much evidence to back up their alibi.
How is it that every woman seems to know a girl who's been raped, but no men seem to know a rapist?
They didn't only fail those women, they failed all of us.
They failed to keep us safe.
To keep us alive.
To listen to us.
To believe us.
To trust us.
To support us.
To stand for us.
And we are tired. We are tired.
We are tired.
We are tired.
We are tired. We are tired. We are tired.
We thank you everyone for coming and listening to us. Now you are joining us, the ones in the stage, but there are so many people behind this project. So please, for our amazing tech team, Lakeside Theatre for having us, for our amazing SU, we've been in constant communication with them. Tanki's team started it with the It Ends Now campaign. Now Asha's team is continuing on pushing for change. For university to listen as students, thank you SU. I encourage all students to get involved with them, trust them, talk to them. And well, we said it, but this is not only a play, this project is a movement, and now it's yours, so please take what you heard, what you learned today, and go to the wall and make